Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. Today we're actually going to start the, the jack leg for the splitter, and going to be doing some grinding and cutting on this. Not really 100% sure on a length yet. I got to work through that with the jack leg that I got. So let's turn our attention from here, because there's not really anything going on at the moment. I'm going to show you the jack leg. I actually swapped it out with the one that I had before, and I'll explain to you why. All right, so we're over here. Previous video, I mentioned that I was going to be using this 4-inch tube to weld up to the front end of the splitter up where the wedge is. And so I showed a jack on the previous video that was a little bit different than this. The reason why I changed it out is because of the style crank. This still swivels. It's got 4 separate locking positions. Has about the same stroke height adjustment. And this welds up a little bit differently. The last one had a piece of tubing that came with it. I think it was like 3/8 thickness, and you would take that tubing and you would weld it to the side of whatever way you fashioned it on, to a boat trailer or so on. So I actually liked that. However, it was going to require me to take some of this 4x4 tubing and from the bottom obviously, and weld it to the side to bring out the jack about 4 inches or so, because the style crank that was on the other one cranked like this, which is very common, say for dump trailers and things like that. But I needed room for knuckle clearance and the clearance for the handle. And I really wanted this style. So that's going to weld up directly to the side of the jack leg. And yeah, I think that's going to work out real nice. I got plenty of clearance here underneath the sorting tray. And yeah, it's going to work out much better. They didn't actually have this one in the store when I bought the other one. Otherwise, I probably would have got this one right off the bat. They were out of stock on this size of this style. So that's what we're working on today. So let's get this back up on the sawhorses, and we'll get to grinding this up and cutting some of this off. I'm going to keep this cap on here. That's convenient. It's already there. And we're going to get this thing welded up. Hey, Andrew Easton, this one's for you, buddy. I figured you'd get a laugh out of that. this is the kind of the beginning of the fitment process. So I've got this thing nestled down in there real nice, front and back. Looks real good. Little big open gaps to fill. Both sides are nice and tight, tops. And that's going to be a real nice weld all the way up and around. Well, I'm not going to say it's going to be a pretty weld, but the fact that it's going to be able to be executed all the way up and around is going to be real nice. Now, one thing I will be doing up here before I actually weld this thing fast to the splitter, I'm going to bevel this. I'm going to chamfer this. See, this top plate here is actually a 3/8, okay? 3/8 plate on the top. And I kind of like that. It was just by chance because that was the material that I had on here for a bracket when I used this as a temporary bumper on my Ram truck when I first got it. So this 3/8 top piece here is nice and thick, and so is this. So this is 1/2 inch plate here. So I'm going to be able to kind of turn this up a little bit. I'm going to bevel this. I'm going to give this a nice bevel, okay? And I'm going to be able to really get a good weld deeper down into the plate here. That way, when I come up here, I can grind this as flush as I possibly can. I want there to be some weld in there, but I want to be able to grind this flush, and here's why. Of course, my welding helmet gets in the way. A couple things here, pardon me for all the noise. So it's going to be hard for me to show you with this pin here, but this is going to go flush up against the side plate, but this plane here is going to be flush with the top of this here, okay? That being, the reason being, I should say, when this is flush and goes all the way back into here, this is what the outfeed tray or the sorting tray is going to be resting on. Okay, it's going to be resting on this, and on the top of everything, I'm also going to have this up here. Now, at first it doesn't look like there's enough room, but I'm actually going to be trimming this channel off shorter on the top side. So I could still get some purchase up there. It'll still be a channel or at least an angle. I wouldn't say angle iron, but an angle piece of metal. And that's going to be up top, all right? Now the sorting tray is going to slide in here above this and below that, all right? And this edge, you know, wherever this measurement winds up being, is all going to be flush here. Yeah, so that's where that's going, all right? So now that that's a little bit clarified for now, who knows if it'll change? You never know. So now I'm going to take the time to get the measurement as to where this jack is going to be. Now I'm just going to set it up. I don't know if you can see on the floor. It doesn't look like you can. Let me angle the camera down here. So on the floor, you'll see at the bottom of that 4x4 tube, there is still the original bracket that was also on the top side here. So what I'm going to wind up doing, I'm just going to set it on here. I'm going to take my measurements, even though it's sitting on that plate, because that 1/4 of an inch is not going to make or break whether or not these dimensions work out. So, all right, so I'm going to get my marker. Where the heck that thing disappeared to? All right, so I'm going to mark down here. Mark over here. Hopefully I made contact. But of course I'm probably marking the plate for the swivel. Let me see if I can get on a better angle here. Try not to get my head entirely in the camera. Sorry. Okay. I need a mark there, technically. So that's that. So that's going to be where the bottom of that, I guess, jack, leg, stanchion, whatever, right word, wrong word, who cares. That's where the bottom of that's actually going to be. So in here, I have to start taking measurements for where the 2-inch receiver is gonna be put in there. So let's get that done. And I'm gonna try to literally just take the measurements, use the 2-inch receiver as my pattern, obviously. I'm gonna try to just use the plasma cutter to cut that whole thing out, both sides. And hopefully my measurements don't get screwed up and kind of leave me with a crooked receiver. So if that does start to go that way, what I'll wind up having to do is just cut the hole a little bit bigger, one direction or another, to get it to level out, and then I'll fix it from there. But we'll have to see how this goes. So here I am. I'm trying to use the plasma cutter here to finish up some of these cuts, and I find myself getting a little bit more frustrated. Kind of an old subject, but never really talked to anybody about it or anything. So here you got electrodes for plasma cutters that you get from Harbor Freight. Okay. Now, 2 times I've been fooled into thinking that the electrodes that they have there are the ones for my machine. This one here, well, I should have known better. This one here, as far as them being I don't know, chromish color, I guess you could say, I thought they started carrying them again. Now, Chicago Electric ones that I need are actually shaped like that. Now the model I have is a 62204 Chicago Electric, and I've had it for quite a long time. But when you go to Harbor Freight, typically they just have one hanger with consumables for plasma cutters. So I don't know really how I should go about getting more of these consumables. Is there a place that you guys know of where I might be able to get these? Maybe I could go straight to a Chicago Electric website. I'll have to give that a shot, but I totally forgot this was a problem up until now, because I bought these a long while ago and was aggravated then and just totally forgot about it. So Harbor Freight, if you're listening, what is the deal, man? You know, kind of leaving me stranded here. That's one thing I don't really care for with the Harbor Freight thing, is that if they discontinue something, they don't send you an email or anything saying, hey, by the way, you're going to have to find somewhere else to get your consumables for your machine, because we don't sell that model anymore. had it out here in the garage today. Yesterday evening, I had started the fabrication of the, I guess the down tube you might call it, for the hitch. The fitment is going quite well. There was a couple alignment issues that I had to address, but I think I got it pretty straightened out. It might not be 100% perfect, but I don't think it's gonna pose a problem to anything. So we got the receiver tube burned into this 4x4. I just got this plate here on the bottom tacked up. We've got the little D-rings welded on for the chains, and obviously you guys were with me yesterday evening through this and this, so you kind of know where I'm going. But the only thing I have yet to do to this thing is to weld up the bottom, and then we're gonna have to move the splitter over to this area and get this thing all tacked up on there, make sure everything is staying aligned, and then we'll just burn it on permanently. And at that point, we will be also welding the jack leg on. One of the things I've been tossing back and forth is, do I want to weld the jack leg on before fitment or permanent welding this to the splitter, or do I want to put the jack leg on first and then kind of do all of it? I'm thinking I'm going to do this first. It's not going to be as fun welding the jack leg on after it's already mounted to the splitter, but I just think it's going to be a lot easier to manipulate this thing if that jack leg isn't on there. I'm still kind of undecided, because the one thing that is a benefit to having that jack leg on there is if I have the jack leg welded on there and I run it to the floor, it's going to help me hold it up. So I still might do it. So I have to, you know what, or get off the pot here. So yeah, we're gonna get back to it. I'm gonna get this plate welded on the bottom, and while I'm doing that, I'll decide whether or not I'm gonna weld that jack leg on here. So let's get to welding this thing up. Guys, it's been a long day. Been a long weekend, really. Finally at the point where this thing is mobile under its own round wheelie things, right? Got the jack leg and I guess the stanchion, I guess what you could call it, all that's on, complete. So I got the triangulated side plates welded on the push plate. So that's fit up real good. That's working out great. Obviously, wouldn't have it on the wheels if we didn't have the riser in. So, aside from a couple extra beads of weld that I want to do on these side plates that hold the wedge, all the major welding that has to do with structural is done. Okay. I have to do some. Well, I guess maybe the horizontal wings on the four-way could be, yeah, I guess considered structural. So we do have that. Now, the other things that we have coming up, obviously, are the log lift and the sorting tray. So I haven't decided yet whether or not I was going to go for the sorting tray first or the log lift. There is a chance I may go with the sorting tray first, just because when I put the log lift in, I want to make sure that my allowances for the sorting tray are, how can I say, favorable to the log lift. So at least when I'm putting on the mounts and everything for the sorting tray, I'll be able to have a visual as far as, like I said, allowances for room for the log lift. That way, if I see or foresee a possible issue, I can at least start at it from there. It would be a bummer to have all the log lift and everything committed to, put on, functioning, and then go to putting on the sorting tray and finding out we've got an issue there. So that's probably the route I'll go, but I'm not 100% committed to that yet either. So we'll have to see. But hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me here through these additional mods to the splitter, and so far I'm real happy with it, and I hope you guys are enjoying what you're seeing. So yeah, so before I close out the video entirely, I'll get you in a little bit closer to everything so you can see how everything has changed, as far as the pusher plate and the sled, and I'll give you a little bit more of a close-up of the jack assembly and all that. Now, mind you, I already know there's a good chance in the comments that I'm going to have comments on the welds that are not exactly going to be, how can I say, compliments. I get it. I understand. Like I said, I was up front with you guys in the beginning. I am not a welder. I'm not a certified welder. I'm just a guy who really enjoyed welding class when I was in high school, and unfortunately, it was only a few years that we were able to do that. So it is what it is. Farm fresh beads is what I got. So, all right. Well, stop yammering, and I'll get you guys a little bit closer. All right. So we got the plate, or I should say the pusher plate assembly, all welded up, both inside and out. I don't know how much you're gonna see. So in between the bolts there, we've got 3 tack welds, And we've got full weld all the way up this inside corner on both sides. And we've also got full weld here. Like I said, they're not the prettiest welds. I will probably go back through there and maybe touch them up. It's not necessary. I've got so much weld on this thing. It would really surprise me if any of this ever let go. So one thing about the sled that was an unfortunate realization is the ram does make a little bit of contact with the sled. Now, if I back up, you guys will see that the ram has a forward pitch. And when I say forward, I mean it pitches forward toward the sled. So I lose elevation on the ram. Now, when you have the ram extended all the way out, that drop lessens, right? So that ram goes out and the cylinder actually rises up, all right? When I took the measurement, with the ram all the way out. And I guess while welding up this tube here, I favored the bottom of the cutout and this back brace here. I favored the bottom of the cut rather than the top of the cut. I think that's where I went wrong. So, I'm a rookie. There's no doubt about it, but it works fine. Everything's good. I did take the flat disc and kind of grind down a little bit of a slope in the top of that sled, just so that as it comes back, you know, it doesn't get bound up or anything. So it works fine. Everything is perfectly fine. No problems, no complications. Clearance is here pretty good. There's a little bit of a tight spot here, but what better way to make it fit just right than to just kind of let it happen by itself. I mean, literally, I mean, it's just barely a scrape. So yeah, you can see it right there. That's it. That's the only contact it's making right there. So yeah, here's the jack leg and all the way around. Full weld all the way around. Now, actually, I should correct that. More structural welding that I got to do is going to be under here. I just haven't had a chance. I've been kind of going crazy. I wanted to get this thing to a certain point. Got another one there, and I will get them done, no problem at all. And down here, so it's working out pretty good. This here, I wasn't exactly happy that it, you know, stuck out, but with the welds on the receiver, I just opted to just kind of let it go. I was gonna cut this piece out and come up and, you know, tidy it all up, and I probably could have, and I still might. Who knows? All it is just a circlip in here. Take a pair of snap ring pliers and pop that snap ring out, and this whole jack leg will come off, and I'll be able to cut this off and weld that up. So still haven't decided whether I was going to do that or not. These here are not for the chains to hook up to the vehicle. These are to stow the chains, right? So I'm going to have more of these, a little bit smaller, up here where the hitch is going to be. This slides all the way out. I'm sure you probably saw that already. So where the hitch is going to be up here, that's where the safety chains will be. And excuse me, when this is slid back, for, you know, using it as well as it's intended to split wood, so you're not tripping over this, you could slide it back, and then the chains, the other end of the chains that would normally be attached to the truck, you can swing back and just latch them there and keep them out of your feet. So, like I said, I'm enjoying this. This is good. It's going to be a whole lot of fun using this thing, and I can't wait to actually put it to work.